80% of adults live in the same familiar state. They hold on to things that quietly hurt them. But we don't see it as holding on. We call it caring. We call it loyalty. We call it love. That's what we're here to talk about. Not just how to detach, but why it's so hard to do, and what we slowly lose when we don't. Let's take a closer look. A woman checks her phone every few minutes, waiting for a reply that never comes. She tells herself it's fine. Maybe he's just busy. Maybe he'll come around. A group of friends sits at the same cafe they've gone to for years. They still meet, still talk, still laugh. But one of them always leaves feeling smaller. And deep down, they know they're no longer respected in this friendship. These stories might sound different, but they all have one thing in common: fear of letting go. We hold on to people, to jobs, to versions of life that no longer serve us. So let's sit together for a few minutes, not to judge what we feel, but to understand it. Let's begin with a question many of us carry in silence. Why is it so hard to let go of something that doesn't love us back? So what is detachment? It's not about being cold, and it's definitely not about giving up. Detachment is the art of loving without losing yourself. It's caring without clinging. It's choosing peace over panic, freedom over fear. Detachment's when your friend forgets your birthday again, and instead of turning it into a test of your worth, you take yourself out for dinner. You raise a glass alone, but your heart feels calm and steady. Detachment is not how you walk away from life. It's how you return to yourself, while still facing life, fully present and fully whole. And now, let's begin. Why we can't let go and what it costs. Letting go sounds simple, but for many of us, it feels almost impossible. Because deep down, we're not just afraid of losing a person. We are afraid of reliving a wound we've carried since childhood. Maybe we grew up feeling unseen. Maybe our emotions weren't taken seriously. Maybe we had to fight for attention, affection, or approval. That's why we tolerate distant replies, dry conversations, and half-hearted friendships. We stay even when something in us already knows it's over. Not because we're blind, but because we're scared that walking away means we were never enough in the first place. But the longer we stay, the more we pay. The first thing we lose is self-trust. We sense the distance, the shift in the way others treat us, but instead of trusting that feeling, we turn the blame inward. Am I being too sensitive? Am I asking for too much? And so for the 10th time, we stay silent when we should have spoken up. For the 100th time, we say yes when every part of us wants to say no. The second thing we lose is energy. Not physical energy, but emotional energy. We wake up tired, even after sleeping. Because when we're constantly waiting, we stop living for ourselves. We become watchers, watching for signs they're online, watching for a shift in their tone, watching every silence, wondering, did I do something wrong? And finally, we lose joy. Not because life stops offering beautiful things, but because we slowly stop letting ourselves enjoy them. Like when we dress up, walk into a room full of people and still feel invisible, because the one person we wanted to notice doesn't even lift their eyes. Or when we send a message that says, I miss you, and they leave it on red like it means nothing. That's when joy slowly stops feeling like joy. Joy turns into loneliness, because the deepest kind of loneliness isn't being alone. It's being unseen by the one you keep breaking yourself for. 5 practical steps to practice detachment. I don't think we need more advice. We need a way back. Something simple, something doable. So here are 5 steps to begin detachment, not to push people away, but to come closer to ourselves again. Step 1. Notice what you feel without judging it. We often think letting go has to be something drastic, walking away, cutting all contact, forgetting everything. But in reality, letting go begins with something much simpler, recognizing what we feel, honestly. Imagine this. You share something meaningful, a new idea at work, or something personal with a friend. You're hoping for support, or at least genuine interest, but all you get is a quick nod, or a distracted, oh, cool. Of course, you feel dismissed. But instead of shutting down or over-explaining, take a breath and say to yourself, I feel undervalued right now, and it's okay to want a deeper connection. And then remind yourself, I deserve something more respectful than this. When we name the emotion, it stops running the show. Because what we dare to face we eventually grow beyond. Step 2. Create a pause before you respond. Strong emotions often come with an urge to act, to send a long message or demand clarity, but those actions, more often than not, leave us with regret. So here's something to remember. No one can shake your peace if you've learned how to stand steady within your own mind. Imagine this. You're in a meeting and finally share an idea you've been thinking about for days. But as soon as you finish, the conversation moves on. No one even acknowledges it. Then a few minutes later, someone else says almost the exact same thing. And this time, people nod, even praise them for it. You feel frustrated. You feel invisible. Part of you wants to speak up right away to point out that you said it first. You even consider sending a follow-up message to clarify what really happened. But something in you knows it won't land the way you need it to. Not in that moment. So you pause. You take a break. You write down what happened, not to prove anything to anyone, but to sort through how it made you feel. And as the emotion starts to settle, you realize your value didn't disappear just because someone else got the credit. It's still there. And you'll choose your next step with a clearer mind. Step 3. Give yourself what you keep waiting for from them. If what we truly want is to feel loved, then we begin by loving ourselves through small actions every day. We look at ourselves in the mirror in the morning and say, "You're doing your best. I'm proud of you." We buy ourselves that slice of cake we usually save for special occasions. We wear the outfit we love even if we have nowhere important to go. If we want someone to listen, we open a notebook and write down every messy, unfiltered thought that's been looping in our minds. Or we call a friend who truly hears us, not just with words, but with their presence. The kind of person who says, "I get it," not "get over it." We make our inner world beautiful again, just for us. And that is when we finally stop begging for scraps of attention that never satisfy us anyway. Step 4. Rebuild your world beyond them. When we are deeply attached to someone, our whole world starts to orbit around them. Every mood, every plan, every moment starts and ends with their presence or their absence. So we gently start expanding our world again. We do small things that remind us we are not empty. We go for that walk. We call the friend who makes us laugh. We pick up the book we kept postponing. We go to the cafe we used to love. We cook something new, or we rearrange our room. We fill our schedule not to distract ourselves, but to remember what it feels like to belong to our own life again. And every time we do something without waiting for permission, we grow. Not louder, not tougher, just more grounded. Step 5. Make peace with what won't be fixed. Not every story gets a perfect ending. Not every bond ends with closure. Sometimes it's like a friend we used to talk to every day suddenly becomes someone we only watch from a distance on social media. There was no fight, no betrayal, no goodbye. Just fewer texts, shorter replies, and a silence that slowly became normal. And we kept wondering if we did something wrong, or if maybe they just forgot how close we used to be. Detachment doesn't mean we stop caring. It means we learn to say, "It didn't end how I hoped, but I'm still allowed to live well." We stop trying to rewrite the past and start writing a new chapter. That's what real detachment is. Not pretending we don't care, but choosing not to be controlled by what we can't change. And here's 2 truths you'll need to remember on the hard days. 1. As long as you keep chasing what drains you, the things that could heal you won't dare come close. 2. If staying hurts more than leaving, you already know what you need to do. The real benefits of letting go. When we begin to detach, the world doesn't suddenly become easier. People don't instantly change. But the way we move through it all becomes steadier, lighter, and more honest. One of the first things we gain is space. Emotional space. The kind that allows us to go through a whole morning without anxiously waiting for someone's reply. We sit in a cafe and realize we're not checking our phone every 2 minutes. We're actually enjoying the coffee. Because when our peace is no longer tied to someone else's attention, we start to feel a sense of relief in a way we forgot was possible. We begin to see clearly who belongs in our life and who doesn't. We see the message left unread, feel the sting, but this time we say one sentence, calm and steady. If someone wants to stay in my life, I won't have to remind them that I exist. And when someone pulls away without a word, stops calling, stops showing up, we no longer beg for an explanation. We simply say, I'd rather stand alone with peace than sit beside someone who makes me feel invisible. That's what detachment gives us. They can leave, they can ignore, but they don't get to define us. Only we do. And maybe the most beautiful gift detachment brings is joy. Real, unforced joy. We hum along while washing the dishes, not because life is perfect, but because it no longer feels like a performance. We try that new hairstyle, wear that bold color, dance in the kitchen with no one watching, not to be seen, but because it feels like us again. We wear the outfit we love even if no one will see us. We feel light again because we've stopped carrying what doesn't belong to us. And once you've tasted that, you don't go back. One day you'll look back and realize, letting go wasn't the hardest part. Believing you deserved more, that was. But now you've already started. You paused before reacting. You noticed how you felt without blaming yourself. You stopped refreshing your phone just to feel seen. You gave yourself kindness, not waiting for permission. When you master detachment, you stop being controlled. By people, by silence, by fear. You become the kind of person who doesn't beg to be chosen. Because you've already chosen yourself. And from that moment on, everything shifts. Your peace becomes unshakable. Your boundaries become non-negotiable. And your energy becomes too sacred to waste on anything unsure. And if something in this video spoke to you, even just one sentence, keep it close. Hit like, save it, or share it with someone you love. And if you want more moments like this, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for being here.